What is the achievement gap?
So it's the it's the knowledge of the difference between races in education levels.
Do you really think there is an achievement gap between blacks and whites?
Okay, my honest answer is no, but it's not because of race. My honest answer is no because I think there's an achievement gap between economic levels, and I think that there's a strong correlation between economic levels, and it has nothing to do with like someone being incorrect or like someone being less than someone else or anything like that, but it has to do with history and the fact that blacks are historically stuck in this lower poverty level than whites. And that tends to affect their education because when you have 3 jobs to support your family, you're not going to do well in school. And that's not just I've seen that a lot in my black friends, but it's not something that I've seen exclusively in either race, just in economic level.
Okay, well, you kind of answered my next question. What do you think it stems from? Okay, so do you feel it's a major problem?
Yes, I do. I think that it's a problem that should be fixed because it should have been fixed years and years ago, around the time of the Emancipation Proclamation.
All right, and how would you propose closing the gap?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think someone smarter than me needs to answer that question because all the solutions that I can think of, I don't think would actually work. Because you can set aside scholarships or something like that, but that doesn't help. And that won't help the achievement gap. You can set aside tutoring time, but it doesn't necessarily make it easier on a student to, they can't necessarily get to the tutoring for whatever else they need to do. So I feel like if the problem really does stem from economic levels, most of the traditional methods that I know of won't work.
Okay. Do you know of any current programs that would address or help to close the gap?
I think the Boys and Girls Club typically helps, but that's the only one I can think of.
Okay. Is it something you've seen in your day-to-day life experiences?
Yes. So I went to a decently affluent high school. The high school I was at was in the middle of the suburbs, right next to the city. So we have 2 sides of the train tracks, and the train tracks basically separate us out by racial neighborhoods, which you can see a lot. I worked for someone in real estate, and though she typically worked with bigger business, I noticed that a lot of her clients ended up in the same places, depending on race. And that happens a lot, and it's been studied a lot in sociology. And then for my actual school, basically I had one class where it was, I was mostly in the advanced programs, and I had one class specifically that was you had to work with both academic and honors level students. What was it called? The civil one. The one where they taught you about the law and voting. Civics and economics. That one. So in civics, you had to work with both classes, and that was honestly the only time I ever had a really decent black population in my classroom, and I was very aware of that throughout high school because in all of my classes, in all of my AP classes, typically I was surrounded by whites. There was one black guy in most of them, and a couple others, and I started noticing this as I got more informed throughout high school, and it made me really uncomfortable. So that's how I usually saw it, because I was in the AP class, and all of the lower classes were filled with either greater racial diversity or mostly blacks or Latino or the considered minorities society.
Okay, thank you very much.